This is the stuff everyone, including me, is talking about, the post-Legacy of Destruction Yubel support. And this is exactly today's topic. Today I'm going to show you some combos I created, and if you yourself know some cool stuff or cool combos, or you say there and there you could have done something different, let me know everything in the comment section. Because no matter how good you are, working together at the end of the day always brings out better results. And this is also already a decklist I can recommend you. I mean, of course it's not the best. No one will know the format we will have when the set drops. Maybe a banlist will be dropping before Legacy of Destruction or shortly after that will cripple the Fire King or Snake Eye deck, and then this decklist maybe won't be good enough anymore, because while building this deck I had in mind to fully utilize the consistency and the combo potential the new Yubel version will have. That's the reason why I heavily cut down on the Unchained package. You can see it at the bottom. There are cards I cut where I think maybe you could consider cooking something with it. But mostly during testing I've realized that the Unchained package, including the trap, isn't really worth it. If you can instead heavily arm up on the hand traps, which I did. We now play 12 hand traps instead of 6 or 9 many people played in the previous version, which is really good if we are still in a fire format when Legacy of Destruction drops. If you are looking a little bit closer on the decklist, you may realize some weird stuff. Where's the third form of Yubel? And why are you playing 2 Yubels? I know that may look weird, but everything will make sense once we go over to the combos. One of the best new cards, one that gives consistency, combo extend and recovery, is the new field spell Nightmare Throne. But let's stop the yapping, I will show you now what one Nightmare Throne will give you. So on activation you can either add or destroy from your deck one monster that mentions Yubel. So we will do this, we will add Samsara the Lotus to our hand. Now on normal summon we will firstly start off with the normal Yubel combo I already showed in previous videos. Set Nightmare Pain, activate Nightmare Pain, and now something funny will happen. Nightmare Throne actually has quite a few effects. The one is the consistency effect that basically searches or destroys something for you out of the deck. The second one is, if a Yubel monster leaves the field by a card effect, it doesn't even have to be from your opponent, you can add from your banished graveyard or deck one Yubel monster that is one level higher or lower than that left the field, and you can add it, and if you want, special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. So we can finally recover Terror Incarnate if it's banished, or just special summon it out of the graveyard. This is huge. This is really huge, and we will now utilize it. So we will go for Nightmare Pain, destroying Spirit of Yubel, and now we will add ourselves the second card, and with that the second reason why Yubel will become broken, in my opinion. Infernal Grave Retrain. What does it do? I will firstly add it with Nightmare Pain, and then, before I get to what he does, I will trigger Spirit of Yubel and trigger Nightmare Throne. And Nightmare Throne will give us the Terror Incarnation, which we can special immediately. And of course, the Spirit of Yubel will float into the normal Yubel. So, a lot of stuff at once, but Infernal Grave Skirmer. We can just special summon him if we control a field monster, and he doesn't lock us into anything. This is fucking great. We will special summon it, and it's a quick effect. This is important to know, because if you have a few interactions with your opponent, you can utilize that to your advantage, but that's depending on the game state. Just keep in mind it's a quick effect. And on summon, if you just specialed him, you can destroy one monster you control. This is mostly used if you are in the battle phase already. Let's say your opponent has a monster with 2000 attack on the field, you run into it with one Yubel, with the second Yubel, and then you activate from hand your Infernal Grave Skirmer, destroying one Yubel, and then you get a new Yubel, which then on top can attack, which is really great. But now we won't utilize this effect. We will just special summon him and link Terror Incarnate with Skirmer away for Yama. Yama will add us now the only Unchained. I mean, I'm really missing the other Unchained cards, but it's time to let go, man. It's time to let the dogs walk free. We will add Shavara, the best dog, and now we keep Shavara in hand because we will first off activate the other effect of Infernal Grave Skirmer, which is, I will read it. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one field monster with 0 attack and death from your hand or graveyard. This card, if you have realized it, is completely insane. It enables everything. Its combo extend that finally puts Yubel into a position where going first, it can put up a really threatening board, and I really like that. So we will, and that effect also doesn't lock us into anything. It's great, I love him. We will activate his effect, special summoning the Spirit of Yubel. So now a few intelligent people from you, you might notice, oh, I know why you have 2 Yubels in hand, in your deck. And yes, let me just use the Shavara to pop the Spirit of Yubel. And because none of the floating effects, except for the field spell, this is once per turn, are actually once per turn. So you can float as much as you want, as long as you can keep destroying the Yubels into other Yubels. So we will use the Spirit of Yubel to get to the other Yubel. And now the reason why I put 2 Yubels in the deck will show itself. But first off, since Shavara locks us into Fiend Monster as long as it is on the field, we will link off Shavara and Yama into Soul of Rage, because it's still just broken to link off one of your opponent's monsters into an SP. Like, we won't change that, and I heavily designed that combo to end on that because I want to utilize this motherfucker right here. This card is Baron de Fleur for fucking Xyz. I will just read it, alright? When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can detach 1 material from this card, negate the activation. Then you can detach 1 material, so it's 2 material if you use this effect, from this card, then destroy 1 card on the field. This is really strong. It's basically an Omni Negate that, if you use it correctly, can either enable your Yama plays in your graveyard if you pop something from yourself, or it can pop something from the graveyard on top of the negate. It's insane, but that's not where it ends. If this exceeds some, at the start of the damage step, if this card with material attacks, you can destroy 1 card on the field. It's really great, man, but also it's not ending here. If this Xyz summon card is destroyed, you can destroy 1 card on the field. It's fucking insane. Especially it synergizes well with Yubel, because of course we like the destruction effects, and it only needs 2 level 10 monsters. It's really, really nice. And all of this is from 1 card. Like, keep that in mind, alright? This is 1 card. And I mean, you could play 1 trap, so the endboard would be better, but I don't like drawing the trap. I don't want to see that fucking trap ever again in my hand. But you might now say, but where's your fucking Yubel cards? And that's a fair argument you have. The idea behind this board is to play it low-key, kinda like Unchained did it, alright? It might not seem like that much. 1 Rage and 1 Omni Negate that can pop, like, it's handleable. The thing is, 1 card generated all of this, and we have Yama in Grave. So, we have Rage into SP, we have the SP interruptions, which is basically, this card basically is 3 interruptions, which is insane. We have an Omni Negate, a pop, and like in general a great disruption if you use it correctly. Your aim is to basically play low-key, let your opponent play, and in the right moment you pop something, or you let yourself get run over, and you activate Yama to bring back Spirit of Yubel, and then the grind game begins. Keep in mind still, this is only 1 card. We are basically more or less hiding the Yubel in the graveyard, and the door to her is Yama. Because think logically about that, and this is a mistake I see a lot of people doing. A lot of people heavily focus on Yubel, which is great. Yubel is a cool card, it's a cool deck, it's the reason we play it, and we utilize her. We really do, but on the end board, Yubel really isn't something that is really good, because the only thing Yubel on the end board does is saying your opponent, out this card please. Yubel on her own isn't an interruption. So we hide her in the graveyard, and we can, if we want, bring her out as long as the opponent activates anything. Wildroth is an Omni Negate, and if he negated something, you can, on top of that, detach 1 additional material to pop 1 card on the field. So in theory, if you want, for whatever reason, I wouldn't know something out of my head right now, but if you want your Spirit of Yubel, after your opponent did something, you can detach 1 material to pop your Nightmare Throne or something you want. Maybe the Rage if maybe you didn't go into SP, you go into Anguish, so you get more value out of the pop. But what I'm trying to say is, if your opponent activates something, you want the Yubel, you can always activate Wildroth to pop the Nightmare Throne, and then Yama will bring out the Yubel. I have a really weird monster in my extra deck, and now I will show you the reason why. This is basically a 2.5 card combo. You just need, it's basically just a Nightmare Throne combo, including Beckoning Beast, and you need any card to discard. So we will start off with normal summoning Beckoning Beast, activating his effect. Now we go opening, getting the second Beckoning Beast, and now, most of the time in the current Yubel version, we go Almirage, reborn the Beckoning Beast, extra normal into Samsara to have as many bodies to extend or to link climb as possible in the on the field. But now, because we have Nightmare Throne and we can utilize the other effect Nightmare Throne enables, we just normal some Beckoning Beast and go into Gym Buster, which is a monster negate. So every monster card or hand trap your opponent now has is invalidated. But now you say, okay, we used Beckoning Beast and we used this extra normal summon. How are we playing the game? It's simple. If you paid attention, Nightmare Throne can add from your deck or destroy something. So we will now get Lotus, but instead of adding him or her, I don't really know to be honest, lol. Instead of adding that monster, that future King of the Pirates, we will destroy him. And now we can utilize Spirit Gates to reborn the Lotus. All of that while being protected by Gym Buster. And if your opponent doesn't have a hand trap or anything, we can just keep Gym Buster on the field to have an additional interruption. And it's a great interruption that also burns. It's a cool monster. Now I will just repeat the combo so you can maybe get more familiar with it. This is really insane. And this on top of that gives grind games. So if Spirit Gates is insane, that's the reason why I still play 3 Beckoning Beasts and 3 openings. Those cards are insane. They are so much grind game on their own. I don't want to cut them yet. Maybe in the future I discover something, but at this point I don't want to cut them. But let's stop the yapping again. I will just do the normal combo. And yes, we will still trigger both. It's just a normal combo, but including Gym Buster. And many people, I've already looked at gameplay with the new support, and many people don't really utilize the part that destroys of Nightmare Throne. It's a bit weird because if you destroy Spirit of Yubel from your deck, yes, you can float into the Yubel, but Yubel on her own doesn't do anything. So I can understand why the pop effect of Nightmare Throne isn't something you use every time, but with Beckoning Beast, it's really, really worth it because of Gym Buster. So we will just, like I said, repeat the same combo. There are many versions of that combo. There is also a version where you go into an Appaloosa, but I don't really like Appaloosa. Appaloosa maybe gets better. I say maybe gets better with Spirit of Yubel, because Spirit of Yubel just prints 3 bodies. But I don't like Appaloosa because it's high commitment. If your opponent can take control of Appaloosa, it's a huge choke point you basically expose yourself to. So if I can make a combo without Appaloosa, that's still good. That still wins almost every game. Why not just leave Appaloosa in an extra deck if you want to make it in the grind game or something? I don't think Appaloosa is a really great endboard piece, to be honest, because it just has so many outs. But this isn't the topic, I just wanted to give my input on that. Now we use Squirmer's effect to reborn the Spirit. You see where that's going, right? It's just like the normal combo, including protection. We go into Rage. And we have that. So on top of that, if you have an additional opening or an additional Nightmare Throne, a Nightmare Pain, you can also just re-add the card you discarded, which now is being Imperm as an example. You can re-add it while having Yubel, because Spirit Gates adds a continuous from your graveyard to your hand. And now you have the most important thing about that is not Gym Buster on his own in the endboard. It's the protection that Gym Buster early on in the combo gives you. It's really fucking great. I like that combo. And this is a 2-card combo with 1 discard that basically, on top of the endboard being Rage, basically Rage on his own is 3 interruptions, 1 Omni Negate, 1 Pop if you utilize it correctly. It gives a monster negate. It's really great. I like that card. And you still have Yama in Grave. You still have the ability to banish Yama to reborn the Spirit of Yubel. If you want, you can still play the trap. Maybe this is something I will consider later on. Maybe I realize the trap is really good, but I just don't want to see it, man. I have PTSD from opening it every time. It's the same as Incarnate, but I can't really distance myself from Incarnate because I love him or her. Maybe. I don't know what Yubel is, to be honest. I think she's a girl, but that's not the topic. So I just wanted to show that I think this is really, really cool, and I think you should try that out. And if you enjoyed that video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, because I do think if you learn a little bit and you go with your Yubel deck to your sneak peek, and you manage to pull something, and I do think if you utilize everything correctly, you can take advantage of the knowledge and be one step ahead of everyone around you, which is great. You can maybe steal some wins with that early on. I wanted to keep this video as simple as possible and explain as best as I can, because I think, especially with the new cards, the Yubel deck shifts to a completely different playstyle. Not completely, but it's quite a shift, you have to admit that. And that's why I want to only show, firstly, the minimum. In the future there will be, of course, more videos, especially with Spirit of Yubel. This deck is really good, and if you are a fucking based Yubel enjoyer, I'm on your side. Don't forget to subscribe, like I said, because that will be worth it if you like Yubel. That's all I'm going to say, and see ya.